Welcome to another new episode of the Bobby Experience. Happy New Year, even though it's just a couple of weeks into the new year, but I'm saying Happy New Year because it's my first time catching up with the viewers here with the first video of the year. So I'll say Happy New Year now. First video I'm making for this 2023 is my review on Skinamarink. Saw the trailer and I was creeped out and fascinated and thought, man, this is unsettling and this is weird. I wonder what this is all about. Saw it at a theater nearby, the buddy of mine, and basically this is it. I wanted to like this film, didn't hate it, but couldn't say I liked it either. There were things I liked about it. One of the good things they did with this, the director, Kyle Edward Ball, what he did with this film is that being able to create tension, there was these long moments of tension where you're waiting for a jump scare. Wasn't a whole lot, maybe 3 or maybe 4 at the most, if you consider times where all of a sudden there was a certain camera shift or all of a sudden lights turning on as being jump scares. But there's one particular jump scare that startled me where I reacted verbally. I let out a yelp, and that's probably what was the only time where I had a bit of a jump. Now, so that was something I liked about, but one gripe I have is the ambiguity, where I like ambiguity, I like mystery, but by the end of the film, you're still left wondering, what was this about? And the premise here, the synopsis on IMDb says 2 children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing, and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. And that's all we have to go off if you chose to read the synopsis. And there was some weirdness going on with that. And as the video is titled, there's some spoilers. So there was times where doors disappeared and windows disappeared, even a toilet disappeared. But going along the lines of ambiguity, there's no explanation as to why they're disappearing. So there's different interpretations of what's going on in this film. One I've read is that it's a nightmare, and it does look nightmarish, where the children are experiencing a nightmare. Another one is that, and this is a bit scarier, is that the children are deceased or dead. They died because of some child abuse that led to their death, and then their ghosts in purgatory, reliving the same experience over and over again. And there's things that are going on that went on in the film that could support that theory, that interpretation, because there are cartoons in the film, like these old 70s cartoons, where there's a time where like a cartoon is looping over and over again, and then there's another particular scene where there's these blood splattering on the carpet where it appears, disappears, and then reappears again and again. And there's a time where it says in text, I think at 574 days. So it makes it out to be that like this has been going on for this amount of time by the time you're watching it. This time loop. Another interpretation is that these children are amongst some entity in the home. And some of these can be true, some of them not. But the director, all he does is give us a synopsis. So I think he did this intentionally, where we're left wondering what this was about. And we're just left to fill in the blanks. And it adds to, I guess, in a way, to to it possibly being what's possibly scary for some people. Uh, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm divided, but I'm leaning more. Like I said before, I'm leaning more towards not liking it, but not hating it. That's where I stand. But I'd say I appreciate it more. But I think the scariest interpretation is that they're ghosts, and then they're reliving their same horror over and over again. Uh, but but going back to what this film did well was with the tension. So imagine, I'll just say this, like that cartoon bomb that's about to go off. You see the spark at the end of a string where it's depleting, and you expect the bomb to go off once it it reaches its end. But then imagine the bomb doesn't explode, but then it never explodes. Because with horror, generally, uh, there's these moments of tension, it builds up, and then it's relieved with a jump scare. Like I said before, there are jump scares in this film, and one particular jump scare that I mentioned before, yeah, made me yell. But then there's not enough. At least I don't think there were. So we're just left with this film where, for some people, that there was just nonstop tension, or you zoned out. So that's another thing about this film. Either you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. And this film, I think the director even know that this would be polarizing. Uh, it may not be your cup of tea. Some people will really appreciate it. Some people will hate it, think, oh, it's just some artsy type film. And you may have felt that way too after watching it, or after you've seen it. Uh, but I will say this though, congrats to the director Kyle Edward Ball, because the when I look this up here, it says that it made 1.5 million and it only cost 15,000 to make. $15,000 budget. So yeah, he definitely made a huge profit from this film. So if we do the math, he made, and I'm just moving the decimals here, of made 100 times, right, what he originally cost. Uh, so he did a good job. Yeah, he did a good, or yeah, he actually no. I'm gonna. Yeah, so I think it was more like 10 times. So I'm gonna take, um, not that it matters. I mean, you get my point, but I'm just gonna do the math anyways here. So 1.5 million divided by 15,000. Well, no, what? Right, 15,000. Oh, I was right, 100 times. So right, either you're gonna love it or hate this movie. It's I guess depend. It's up to you. Whether I guess there's different factors. Whether you grew up being really afraid of the dark, or you maybe you experienced some child abuse. Maybe seeing the imagery will trigger certain things in you. I'm not sure. I guess it's all up to the individual, because one person's gonna may walk out the theater, which I did see people that walked out the theater. Some people stuck around, still wondered what the heck it was about. And there's some people that have really loved it. But I'd say watch this movie if you want to support independent films, indie horror films, or if you're really curious, if you want to watch it. But otherwise, if what I shared right now with the ambiguity and also these pretty much these shots where at these weird angles where just looking at carpet or looking at hallways for a long time where nothing's going on. If you going into it, if you already know that, and if you don't want to see that, then I would say not watch the film. because that's what a majority of the film is. In fact, I would say this would have been better as, for me, it would have been better as a short film because they could have summed up everything that went on in this maybe with 30 minutes or less. And that's generally what analog horror is. You can look that up on YouTube, that particular genre, but I don't think it just for a lot of people, it's polarizing. I don't think analog horror may translate well for a lot of people who go see it in theater where like it's more than an hour long. Yeah. So this is Bobby with the Bobby Experience. What did you think of the film? Write down in the comments below. See you in the next episode. Peace.